Welcome to another video, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on the video, of course share the video, most important. Now this situation right here, it's kind of personal to me, but let me jump into it first, then I'll tell you why it is. So pay attention, listen to this. This is what's going on right now.
According to the CDC, fentanyl was the leading cause for the record number of drug poisonings and overdose deaths in America last year. More than 71,000 deaths were linked to synthetic opioids like fentanyl.
What drugs did they take? What drugs? Fentanyl?
In just the past 36 hours, officers in Las Vegas responded to at least 4 deaths that they say are connected to fentanyl. Meanwhile, the opioid continues to flood the illicit drug market. Last week, police in Phoenix, Arizona seized more than 1 million fentanyl pills while executing a search warrant. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration also announcing today that agents have seized a historic amount of fentanyl since May.
We seized over 10 million fake pills and 982 pounds of fentanyl powder across all 50 states. That is enough to kill 36 million Americans.
Officials pointing the finger squarely at the Mexican drug cartels for trafficking the pills across our borders.
Now they're pointing the fingers at the Mexican drug cartels, but why aren't the borders better protected? If you have something that dangerous coming through, then shouldn't the borders be better protected? Like DEA, maybe you guys should be down there in heavier numbers, play more defense. Don't let them come through. Now, if whatever they're saying is accurate, I don't know. Is that where it's really coming from? Who knows? America's a pretty big place. Lots of ports. You know, it could be coming from anywhere. That is their claim. Is it accurate or not? I don't know. But let's be honest. On a landmass this big, it could literally be coming through anywhere. Now, of course, you have Coast Guard out there, so if it's coming in on something big, it's more, of a risk. But who knows what technology they're using to bring this in. But the fact is, all these people are overdosing, dying, and the drugs are still coming in. So what exactly is being done? Yeah, it's good to lay the blame, but what are you doing?
These cartels are responsible for virtually all of the fentanyl, and they currently dominate the worldwide fentanyl distribution and supply chain.
The avenue for dispensing these drugs? Social media. The DEA saying nearly 130 investigations are linked to social media platforms like Snapchat, where buying drugs is as easy as sending the right emoji to a so-called plug, a dealer who finds customers on these apps. In a statement released by Snapchat, the company says it's proactively detecting illicit drug content and shutting down drug dealers who abuse our platform and partnering with expert organizations to educate Snapchatters about the horrific dangers of fentanyl. And a growing hurdle for authorities, brightly colored rainbow fentanyl pills.
This thing look like Smarties. Don't this look like Smarties? The candies that little kids eat, sometimes they have them in little bracelets with all these. This is disturbing right here.
That are otherwise similar to any other fentanyl pill, being seized in at least 20 states since February.
Psychologically, looking at something that is nice in color, a person right away doesn't think, okay, this can kill me. They think, okay, let me take this and, have a good time.
We spoke with 2 gang and narcotic detectives with the LAPD. They're both in shadow because of their undercover work.
Every socioeconomic type is affected also, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're just the average Joe or a celebrity or an athlete. We're all affected with fentanyl overdoses.
Now, that's one of the problems that I think it's very telling. right? You don't hear a whole lot about it on the news now because so many things have happened, but it is a pretty big problem. The drug dealers are just going to continue dealing drugs. That's what they do. So saying that, oh, the Mexican cartel, blah, 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 blah. No, what are you doing to prevent them from bringing it in? If that's where it's really coming from, I don't know, right? This is what the DEA is saying. Is that a reality? Who knows? Possibly. But if it is, what are you doing to stop it? Cut that pipeline out. The border has basically been open for a while now. I don't know what possesses people to do these drugs. I was on fentanyl for 3 years, but when I found out how dangerous it was, I had to get off of it. Now, I didn't take the pill, I was on a patch. So, it goes into the skin. You put the patch on the skin and the medication, it goes into it. But once you get used to taking it, you'd have one patch on. Rather than taking it off when the 72 hours are up or the 3 days, put another one on so that you don't taper off for any reason. And then when the next 72 hours, you take that first one off, leave the second one, and then put on a third one. That's what started happening. So by the time I saw somebody about it 3 years later with the issue that I was dealing with, because pain management put me on it, the guy was like, fentanyl is really dangerous. You don't want to be on it for that long. And when he found out how long I'd already been on it, he was like, get off of that. As soon as possible, get off of that. So I basically had to wean myself off of it. I had been on oxycodone 30 for 2 years. But the issue is with all that was happening with the fake scripts and the doctors, writing fake scripts where people are being paid for scripts, it had cut down the pipeline of oxy coming to the Northeast, which is where I am. So you'll find that there are times you'd go to these stores, these pharmacies, and they don't have any, and they don't know when it's coming in. And then I would start to detox. Now, can you imagine you're going somewhere, right? You're on your last, because they don't give it to you unless your medication is done. So you're going out there on the day of, right? And you start detoxing the day after because you couldn't get it. And then the day after that, you know what condition you're in? Throwing up, trying to drive, throwing up out of the window because you're driving around looking for medication and you can't get it. Then the pain starts to set in. So I know how bad it can get being off of these drugs. But to go buy it off the street in this pill form, I mean, there's so many things out there. The people are they're rolling the dice with their life. That's what this is literally what you're doing. You're literally rolling the dice on your life when you go out there and you take these pills, whether it be MDMA, fentanyl, whatever pill forms, because you don't know what they're cutting it with. Look at the situation in Philly where they're cutting it with whatever, some type of animal, something or the other, the trank. And then they got some kind of zombie flesh-eating disease. Like skin is falling off, have these huge, like disgusting marks where the flesh is open. Why would you put yourself through that? Why would you risk putting yourself through that? There's alcohol, which is legal. There's cannabis, which is legal. And again, not, endorsing either, but the risk otherwise, it's just too great. It is too much of a risk. And apparently the trank is so cheap, it's like half of the cost of heroin. So now it has a socioeconomic effect where people who can't afford heroin are now buying trank. But these pills and stuff, they cost more. So now you're having people that are in a different socioeconomic status overdosing on these pills. But once they start pressing them here, I mean, they're going to lower the price. They're going to make it available to everybody because they're going to make money regardless. My advice is stay away. Stay away. Stay far from it.
They are now urging residents in the LA area who suspect their drugs are laced or replaced with fentanyl to turn them into the station.
You don't necessarily have to tell them that you purchased in the, for the reason of you were going to use it, but I would encourage somebody to turn in those pills and maybe get a narcotic investigator to follow up and try to get that dealer.
Families who've been impacted by the crisis now desperate for solutions.
There's got to be other means and other ways that we're educating our children, and in a very, very serious way. Not just don't do drugs. We tried that.
Laura Brinker and Matt White lost their 17-year-old son Connor White to fentanyl poisoning in May of last year.
We thought it was a Percocet. It was a blue pill with M30 on it.
There was not a dozen pills in a bag. It was one pill that was taken.
Connor was an honors student at the San Diego High School where Matt is a teacher.
It was around 9:45, and he was supposed to be in my class, and he wasn't there. We live, like literally 4 minutes from campus, and I saw his car in front of the house. I went into the bathroom, and he was on the floor in the bathroom, not breathing, and I immediately called 911 and started with CPR. It was too late.
I asked if I could just give him one more hug, and they said, no, you can't touch your son. After that, he was taken away.
Those weren't a couple of poor blacks from the ghettos of North America. So, as I said, socioeconomic status really doesn't have anything to do with it. It can affect anybody, right? What's going to be done? I don't know. It's bad enough that if you take the pharmaceuticals, that the pharmaceutical industry gets approved through the FDA, you could take them as prescribed and still have adverse effects. Or you could actually overdose on stuff that is regulated. So, much less the stuff that is not regulated, that people are just putting out here to make a quick buck. Err on the side of caution. Don't let anybody influence you. You know what I mean? Walk your own path. As I said, I was taking it because it was prescribed. I had been in a car accident. But I could see the effects, like the dependency on it. It was very strong. And to come off of it on your own, you have to be extremely strong-willed. It's not easy. Same thing for Oxy. Taking 4 of those 30 milligram tabs a day, let me tell you, when you run out, the detox is not pretty. Anyways, that's all for now. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.